go down this conversation and I'm engaging with these people in this forum for the New York State Teachers Union. We're having a conversation, and I said, I said the quality of education right now when it comes to reading is really, really, really messed up, and something's not right. So what are we going to do to actually change it? And I believe that if we are working to change it, that we have to actually make a difference by focusing on what's happening with the the curriculum, right? So who's going to talk about what's going on with the curricula? Nobody? Somebody? We should be talking about something like that, right? But it's not something that's being talked about. Okay, thank you. And if you guys are just tuning in, thank you for tuning into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. Glad to have you guys with us. Thank you ever so much for tuning in today. We are here on WRFZ 106.3. We are here every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. So we're talking right now about the teachers union and the school districts and the quality of education in New York State moving forward and how we can address different issues that we're experiencing this year and where we can actually make differences. With that being said, I was in this forum with these teachers from the teachers union, and I guess like the different people on the board and stuff like that that are not actually teachers, but are in the teachers union or whatever the case is, blah, blah, blah. And I made a comment about, because they were talking about the reading and stuff like that. And I made a comment, I said, hey, why are we paying so much for curriculum when we're talking about teaching reading and writing, basic reading and writing? Like, do teachers not know how to read and write? Like, how can you not be able to teach somebody how to read and write? Like, something's wrong there, right? Like in New York State, we have one of the most ridiculous credentialing things for the actual teachers. And that in and of itself is a big burden to some that want to get into the actual field of teaching. But we don't talk about that. But we should. We definitely should. Because honestly, personally, I don't believe that we should be having such a high quality, right? Like it's not even quality, right? Technocrat nonsense. It's if you graduated high school, you should be able to teach kindergarten. That's all I'm saying, right? Like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to teach first grade. We got all of these teachers, BAs, master's degrees, PhDs, and stuff like that, and we can't teach basic language, basic English. Like unless you're like an English as a second language type of person, and you were born into the United States of America, then maybe. But we pay all this money for curriculum, and the curriculum changes all the time. Why does the curriculum change so much? You have to ask yourself that. And it costs us millions and millions of dollars every single year. Now, if you ask me, that money could be going into teachers' pensions. Hello? Can somebody hear me on this thing? You understand what I'm saying? Teachers' pensions, they go into their paycheck. Why are we spending all this money on curriculum to teach people how to read and write English? Do you not know how to read and write English? Like, what's wrong? Basic math, 1 + 1 is 2. Like, we need to buy curriculum for 1 + 1 is 2. Maybe we need to reassess, and we need to be generating these curriculum in-house for all of the money that we pay for the Department of Education on the state. That's why personally, I am completely against the Department of Education for the state, and I believe that it needs to be abolished. Because what actually is it actually doing? It's not actually doing a lick of spit. The Department of Education on the state level isn't doing a freaking thing, not even a little bit. What are they doing? How can you tell me that there are teachers that have these degrees and they're not even able to teach basic entry-level reading and writing or math? Like, I'm talking like first, second grade, right? Kindergarten. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or some PhD to do all of it. But we're buying the curriculum. Again, it's not so much about the teachers. It's about the fact that it costs us to actually buy the curriculum that we are teaching. Why is that not being developed in-house? Can somebody answer that? Please do me a favor, you guys. Hit like, hit share, hit some hearts. Get that message out there. We're having important conversations that we need to be having, and we want more people to see and get this message. So please share it out there. If you're watching us online, you can see us online, and we've got the information on how you can donate on the sides of the screen. So you can see that you can donate via Cash App. You can do $MW Real, the number one. That's $MW Real 1. Okay. And you could do Venmo or PayPal at Marcus C. Williams, or you can do givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams, because airtime on the radio costs money. So please help us get more airtime, help us pay for some airtime, and Lord willing, we can raise about $50 to $100 a show that we do, so we can start getting some better equipment and more airtime to get this message out to more people and give you a better quality production of what we're doing, and the conversations we're having will travel further. So please do donate. I'm going to even pop up the ticker in a second so you can see the little ticker. It'll run across the screen if you're online. But if you guys are listening on the radio, please make sure that you tell everybody, all of your friends and everybody that you know, and all of your enemies even still, tell them to tune in Mondays, 2:30 to 4 p.m. to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams on WRFZ 106.3 FM. So we're here and we're talking about the quality of education, and we've gone into a conversation about basic reading and writing and basic math. The foundational things, the 3 A's, reading, write, the 3 R's, excuse me. The 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Clearly whoever came up with that didn't know how to spell. I'm joking. But, the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. But if we're not focusing on these very foundational core things that the youth need to succeed, how can we possibly expect them to succeed in everyday life? How? So this is something that's very, very important, and we don't even talk about it, because in New York State right now, what we've got going on is we got a whole bunch of teachers and a whole bunch of people and we're paying them money, but what are the kids learning? That's a whole nother conversation. And this isn't a rag on teachers or anything, because it's not about the teachers, but we're going to get to the union itself in a second. It's about the state level government. It's about the state level government. What are we doing? Like, why are you paying all this money for this curricula, however you want to say it? Why are you spending all that money? Doesn't make no sense. That money could be going to our teachers. That money could be going to teacher pensions. That money could be going to improving the quality of education by having smaller classes, because now you can actually pay for more teachers, or other stuff, right? Pay for teacher credentialing and education and expanding programs that allow more people to become teachers, something like that. But we're spending it every year on more and more curricula. And why does the curricula change so much? Aren't these teachers taught to teach? Hello. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm simplifying things that are simple too much. I'll give you an example. When I was little, when I was in elementary school, we had some brown reading books. I don't know if you guys remember those brown reading books if you're in this part of New York State, and I don't know if you had them in other states. But we had like some brown reading books that looked like they were from the 70s, and they was falling to pieces, and I don't know. I don't know, right? But this were the books that we had when we were little in like first grade. And it strikes me that now all the talk is about curriculum. And we had them books from like, I don't know when they came in, right? Like, how the pages start to turn yellow after a while. The books, they have the binding and stuff is all coming to pieces and stuff like that. Like the books look like they have been there for 30, 40 years. Easy. I don't know how long they have been there. maybe I'm over exaggerating. Maybe they only been there like 30 years, right? But they have been there a long time, and we've been using that, and everything was working perfectly fine. People could read and they could write and they could do basic math. Now what are we doing? We got all these great, beautiful computer screens and this and that, and well, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're not doing a whole lot of nothing. You know, the quality of education is next to zero. And that's something that we really need to have a conversation about, but we're not even talking about. Why is that? And this is concerning. Let me know, drop a comment. I'll do my best to pop the comments up on screen, even though I'm not in front of the screen like that right now, but I'll do my best to pop them up on screen. Comment below what your thoughts are on us continuing to spend all of this money, keep changing the curriculum over and over and over again for basic stuff, right? Like this isn't this isn't fluid dynamics or something like that, right? Like this isn't particle accelerator astrophysics or something, right? Like it's not something that's changing every 5 seconds. We're talking about 1 + 1 is 2, A, B, C, D. You understand what I'm saying? Like these are real basic things. See, spot, run. You know, like it's crazy. It's crazy. This is what's going on in our educational system. And right now, where I live, only 10% of the graduates are have proficiency. 10%. It's terrible. But we spending money. But I say all of this if you missed what our intro was as coming up. We're talking about on places where you can actually make a difference and start to make an inroads in local politics and stuff like that. And I was pointing out that the education, school board and stuff like that is a place that you might want to be interested in looking into. And also because of a lot of people don't go to the school boards or see what's going on in the schools. They find out stuff is being in the library and stuff like that for alphabetism and activism and socialism and all these other isms, okay, that don't nobody want in the schools for the children when the children aren't able to read and write. Like, what are we doing? This is a problem. But they got alphabet flags and BLM flags and all the other flags in the classroom and stuff like that. It's flags of division. There's only one flag. It's the United States of America. That's it. One flag. Oh, Lord, that's it. One flag. Okay. However, I will allow the military flags. That is okay. Prisoner of war flag is okay. You understand what I'm saying? The only one that's outside of that is the Christian flag, which is the only one that is able to fly higher than the American flag on a flagpole. That's by the law of the Navy as far as flag code. So as we have these important conversations, please like and share, and so we can get these messages out to more people and have these important conversations that we need to have. This is a new year. So I'm not saying that you should be a new you, but I'm saying let's start little by little to get more engaged in local politics. Maybe that looks like going to your school board meeting. Maybe it's going to city or town council. Maybe it's going to your county legislature meeting. Maybe it's fire district. Maybe it's whatever. But wherever you are, start to get involved, because if we don't get involved, nobody's coming to save us. That's something that we all have to remember. Nobody at all is coming to save us. That's it. It is us. We are the remnant. We are the people that must stand to make a difference in our nation. Our nation is under attack from outside and within. There are those who are so stuck with their own ideologies that they don't even want to hear or conceivably think that what they are preaching, okay, could be wrong. Or consider this, there might be another way forward. Oh boy, don't do that. There was a thing, there's this guy, and I don't mean to harp on this, but I think it's worth the conversation. There's this guy, Robert Brooks is his name. He had an issue in prison and he ended up dead. Now, from the videos and stuff that I saw, it looked like essentially he died from traumatic injuries caused by the correction officers. Now, I don't know, right? But that's what it looks like. It looks like he was likely had been very poorly treated by them and stuff like that. I don't know the whole story. I don't know the politics that's going on in the jail. I don't know what's been happening there. I don't know if this is a chronic issue. I don't know if the people in, like, if something else happened before. I don't know if he had jumped on an officer before. I have no clue. I have no clue. So I have very little that I can actually say I know about this. I know what's been put on the TV. I know what people have said. And it's interesting about this is that, to me, it clearly looks like there was malfeasance going on, right? So does it look like something criminal happened? Absolutely. Do I know for sure? No. But if somebody were to say, based on the videos and the stuff that you saw, is something wrong here? Is something criminal going on here? Should this have happened? I'd say this is jacked up and it don't look right to me. But somebody had put out that it was a hate crime. I said, wow, you saying it was a hate crime? I watched the videos and stuff that I watched. I didn't see that it was a hate crime. I said, okay. I said, then, I said, what did you see? Because maybe somebody saw something different than I did. Maybe somebody knows something more than I know. And I asked him, I said, well, if you're saying that this is a hate crime, well, what would you say justifies this as a hate crime? Nothing. They had a whole bag of nothing for me. I said, okay. And they started to get offensive. I said, I'm only asking a question. It was a fair question, I thought. You know, you're saying it's a hate crime. I didn't see it. Maybe you know something I don't. You know, and I asked him, I said, well, if you can't give me any details or whatever, I said, do you know what the definition of a hate crime is in New York State legally to make that statement? And it was an assertion for sure that they had made because it was all capital letters online. And we know whenever somebody's putting all capital letters online, they screaming, they yelling. That's what that means. So if they're screaming and yelling this, then they must be very so much sure asserting this. So I asked them, I said, okay, I said, well, how is that, right? Like, how is that a thing? Nothing. And they got mad and they got huffy because they couldn't explain themselves. I'm not the one saying it's a hate crime. You're telling me it's a hate crime. Okay. I don't see it, so please show me. And they're like, oh, well, there are white officers and the white officers are always doing this to black people. And sometimes it's just officers with black faces and they're really part of white supremacy too. I said, hold up now. Hold up. That sounds like a lot of extra that you add in there that doesn't make any sense and has no relevance to the question that I actually asked, which was, how do you determine that this is a hate crime? And I asked this very specifically because it is very concerning in New York State how they are labeling things hate crimes right now. And we're going to get into that in a second. Please hit like, share, drop some hearts, drop some comments, and I'll do my best to pop the comments up there as they come in. So every comment that you make helps us get it out to more people. It kicks the algorithm. So even if you just drop like an emoji in the comments or whatever, all of that helps. Please do what you can. Definitely share. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I see you guys watching. Definitely subscribe and follow. So as we have this conversation, I don't know if you guys are familiar with New York State. Over the last couple of years, they've added all types of extra crazy anti-hate laws, if you can even call them that, right? Like they're like, oh, anti-Asian hate. And we've talked about that on this show before. That whole thing was a fabricated lie that was pushed by the CCP, okay, by the Chinese communist regime, okay? We already talked about that on other episodes. We can talk about it in a future episode. But the thing is that was a cultivated false narrative, right? The other day, we had a break-in at a church, right? There was they broke into a whole bunch of cars. This was Christmas Eve. They broke into a whole bunch of cars on Christmas Eve at Christmas Mass at a church, right? Now let's run through this real quick. Christmas Eve, one of the highest holy days in the Christian religion, okay? This is at a church. This is during church service. And they break into all of these people's cars who are attending church service. That sounds like a hate crime to me. Well, Marcus, why would you say it's a hate crime? It was just a crime of opportunity. Absolutely. That's what makes it a hate crime. Because these people knew that that was a church. They knew that they were in there for some sort of religious ceremony or religious service. They knew that it was Christmas Eve, one of the holiest days in Christianity. Unless you just got fresh off the boat from some other country, really not even from some other country, you have to come from another planet to not know that it's Christmas time and that Christmas is a Christian holiday, right? Like, you don't even have to be Christian to know when Christmas is. Like, that's it. That's very, very serious. So I'm like, this is a hate crime. And people are like, well, it's not a hate crime because it's a crime of opportunity. Well, but it was at a church. It was on Christmas Eve, a high holy day, and it was during religious service. You mean to tell me that they didn't know that it was Christmas Eve? You mean to tell me that they didn't know that that was a church? And you mean to tell me that they didn't think that those people were there for some sort of a religious service? Who's stupid? That is exactly what a hate crime would be considered. Because they went after them, because there was an opportunity, because they were Christians, because they were worshiping, because they were in a religious ceremony, because it was a high holy day. Had that been at a mosque during what you call it, Ramadan, oh my goodness, it would have been all of the problem. Had that been at a synagogue during one of the 50 million holidays that they have during the year, it don't even have to be one of the real extra serious ones, right? Like, had it been on any one of them, it would have been all over the news. Oh, it's the biggest hate crime ever against the Jews, this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. But where's that energy for Christians? Nowhere. Nowhere to be found. If you like the conversation that we're having, please hit like, share, subscribe. If you don't like it, share it anyway. Okay? And hit the heart button, hit the thumbs up, drop some comments below. Every little bit helps the algorithm to get out to more people. And as we have this conversation, it's important for us to remember, like I said, they got an anti-Asian hate bill. They don't have an anti-Christian hate bill. They got an anti-Islam bill, Islamophobia bill, excuse me. Where's the anti-Christian hate bill? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So these are the things that we have to start questioning. But, and I'm bringing it all full circle in a second here, check this out. But they put this new thing forward with Prop 1, talking about you can't discriminate against this, that, the 3rd, the 5th, the 29th, or the 30th, all the way down to somebody that's got 2 different colors of shoes. Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but I'm 100% on point with what I'm saying. So if you're not familiar with Prop 1 in New York State, it's terrible. Okay, it just passed. There was an amendment to the Constitution, all this other jazz. But what it does is essentially it pushes us forward more towards like what's going on in England, more towards what's going on in Australia, where people are just being rounded up for speaking out against what the government is doing, or for saying that they don't like something that is going on that's bad. I'll give you an example. There were these people over the last week or two that have been speaking up against the gang rape that's been going on in England, that has been carried out by these Muslims in England. And they're like, oh no, we don't want that. We can't have this. Why can't we talk about this and all of this? And they're getting arrested for speaking up against the gang rape in England. I'll give you the best example I can give you, the most atrocious example I can give you, is that there was this lady, and she spoke up against the gang rape that had happened. And no, not the lady. There was a father who had spoken up against the gang rape that had happened, and they gave him more time in jail just the other day than they gave the actual people accused of rape. Please make that make sense to me. Can you make that make sense? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense, it definitely doesn't make dollars. So, but this is what the government over there is doing. And remember, they're threatening to lock other people up. There have been other people online that have said stuff, oh, well, we don't like the way the government is carrying on. Lock them up. They lock them up. I've talked about that on my other show, the Elephant in the Room, which is a show that I do on Sundays. Check it out on my YouTube, the Marcus C. Williams channel. There's actually an episode from last night you can check out. But it's very, very serious what's going on over. Look at Australia. When people were talking about, oh, they don't think that what the government is doing, locking people up in quarantine camps and stuff is good. They were coming to people's house and snatching them out of their house and locking them up. You know, because they were calling it hate speech and all of this stuff. So now in New York State, we got all these crazy laws where they're calling all of this stuff essentially unconstitutional hate speech is what they're deeming these type of things. And it's dangerous. We are on a dangerous, dangerous path, a very dangerous path. So when I saw them say that this issue with the Robert Brooks situation was, is it Robert Brooks? I'm 90% sure that's his name. Excuse me if I'm not getting the name. I'm 90% sure that that's his name. But with that issue, when they said that, oh, well, that's a hate crime, I'm like, I really need you to drill down into that and give me some evidence of that. Show me, because I'm terrified that you're saying that this is a hate crime when the government is out there trying to say that everything is a hate crime. And if you speak up against the government or something that's wrong, that's a hate crime too. So if we're going down the road that you're going, you're leading people to this very dangerous road. So if it is a hate crime, I need you to actually substantiate that. And they could not substantiate. And because I kept asking the question, like they kept coming at me, giving me a hard time, but they didn't have nothing, no actual answer, no actual solution, no actual statement, no actual evidence, no actual proof of anything, or even real reason to believe. Just because they were white and there were some black people there, and you're saying that the white people are the black people are white supremacists too? Are we being serious? We can't be being serious right now. Like, this can't be real right now. I need you to show that there is some way that we can openly see that this is a hate crime, or that they're affiliated with with the KKK, the Aryan Nation, the all these other different groups that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them, right? Like what is going on here? And then it also takes away from the much larger conversation. And if you guys have followed me for some time, if you're just joining, thank you for tuning in. But if you follow me for some time, I often talk very strongly about the need for comprehensive prison reform. So here we are, this very serious issue happens. We have the ability to have a real conversation about the need for prison reform and some of the horrible laws that have been implemented that have made the prisons less safe for both the correctional officers and the prisoners, like the HALT Act, okay? Look that up, like that's terrible. Okay, it's the implementation of it has destroyed any type of discipline that there is to be put in or had in jail, and it's really rough, and it's discouraged the correctional officers and stuff like that. It's from engaging in all types of stuff, and since they implemented the HALT Act, the attacks on prison guards has skyrocketed. But we can't have those conversations. You know, the fact that the food is terrible in prisons, we can't have that conversation. The fact that the quality of life in prisons is terrible, we can't have that conversation. The fact that they're called correctional facilities and rehabilitation facilities, and they're not correcting or rehabilitating anything, we can't have that conversation, because that is a real serious, very serious, real conversation. So they want to detract from that. We can be using this time to actually implement a really serious conversation on talking about prison reform. But you want to say, oh, well, it's a hate crime, and make it something that it's not, detracting away from the very serious nature of the conversation that can be had here, instead of these fake Democrats that are in office right now passing these half behind bills that they got out there talking about, oh, well, we're doing something with the prison system. Look at what we're doing. An associate of mine put out something talking about, I love a couple of the senators out there that we have that are Republicans. Some of them out there are really, really good. So there's this bill that was put out there by, who was it put out there is the primary sponsor? Tedesco, something like that. Okay. And then there were a couple of other ones, Borrello, I love that guy, and some other people. He's a great guy. He's really, really solid. And he stands up for our constitutional liberties and freedoms. And I don't say positive stuff about elected officials like that, and I don't vouch for nobody like that. That man is solid, for real. Okay, but somebody I know was like, oh, well, they put these laws talking about, they want a law, and these are they're talking about the Republicans, right? They're not talking about the terrible Democrat laws that have been put out, the fake laws that are supposed to help people in prison, but aren't doing a lick of spit and are just like, oh, well, we did a little teeny bit of something. Look at us, celebrate us. Look at what we're doing, when they didn't do a crock of crap. You understand what I'm saying? So they put up the Republicans have put up a thing that says that you can't unilaterally shut down prisons. It needs to go through the legislature. Now, let me tell you something about the New York State legislature. The New York State legislature, the Democrats have a supermajority. The Democrats have the governorship, and the Democrats have the Senate. So they've got all three bodies of the state legislature. And you don't want the conversation to be brought up about closing prisons in the legislature? Are you serious? Like, are you serious right now? You have a complaint about that? When we can have a real serious conversation about what the issues are with the prisons, that is what your issue is? No, that's some anti-Republican hate that you're spewing. Now we're talking about hate, right? Now we're talking about hate. That's what it is. Okay? That's all that it is. It's because you mad at them because they Republicans. Republicans don't even have any power, as I just pointed out, in the state legislature, and they haven't for years, decades, even. Okay? I think with the state assembly, they had the Democrats had the supermajority in the state assembly for like 60 freaking years. Are we serious right now? So this was a conversation that was being had. Oh, well, they want it to go through the legislature. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? That just shows ignorance of what was being done before that. You want to know what was done before what's happening right now? And the reason why that bill is necessary? Because the governor is unilaterally closing prisons. Unilaterally. Just, oh, I want to close this prison. I want to close that prison. This is what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Shut it down. Let all the people go free. Let all the criminals out on the streets. Or sometimes they'll transfer them to other places. But usually what happens is a lot of people fall through the cracks that shouldn't be able to get back out into common society because they ain't no good. They terrible people, right? Like, some people can be reformed. Some people don't want to be reformed, okay? And some people just have a very hard leaning into criminality. And the ones that they letting out ain't the good ones. Okay? They ain't the ones that want to reform. They ain't the ones that's trying to make a difference in their life that they're letting out. And guess whose community they're letting them out in? The middle class, the working class, and the people in poverty's community. Okay? The people that are already struggling and suffering. Okay? But also, on top of that, the governor is spending all this money talking about, oh, we're rehabbing prisons so that they can become housing units. What? Who's stupid? Are you, listen, you guys, drop a comment below if you are going to go to get housing at a prison. You want to live in a prison? You want to live in something that was a prison? You think that that's going to be the place to live? That's what you want? You want to live in a prison? I don't think anybody wants to live in a prison. I don't think most prisoners want to be in a prison. Then the governor talking about she's putting all these millions and millions of dollars into the prisons to fix the prisons so that the prisons can be housing. Who's dumb? And again, she's doing this unilaterally. This isn't even going through the state legislature. But these people that are talking about it don't even know what the heck they're talking about. Just talking to talk. Okay? To try to paint Republicans as bad when the Democrats are in control of everything. Are you serious? It's frustrating, y'all, but this is how they deceive you. This is how they manipulate your mind to try to tell you that something that is not, and something that isn't is. And that's why we have to be aware. Today marks January 6th, which is the day that the election for president and the election is certified. So this is awesome. Now we got a new incoming president, right? Lord bless, we get through the inauguration and everything goes off without a hitch. He gets into office and he starts doing good things. However, that does not mean that we, as the people, do not hold him accountable for the things that he said that he was going to do when he got into office. On the contrary, all the more so, we as the people need to mobilize and get active to hold him accountable for the things that he said he was going to do and make sure that he does it. But not just him, also Congress. Because the president only can do like executive orders or encourage to push something. They're largely in charge of the what would you call it? The foreign engagement and stuff like that, and the different departments and stuff like that, not the day-to-day laws and legislation that happen in the government that comes from Congress and the Senate and in the House of Representatives. So it's up to us to hold accountable our state, the representatives from our state on the federal level. For instance, I have two senators. My senators are Senator Chuck Schumer, super trash, and Senator Gillibrand, definitely no good. Okay, so and I got individual complaints about both of them. Okay, but largely I just saw Chuck Schumer. I wish I had the video to show you guys on here, but we're on the radio. But I just saw Chuck Schumer the other day talking about why the Democrats lost a lot of these elections, and he was like, "Oh, it's because the people don't know how good they have it with us. We're so great for them. This, that, and the third." I was like, "Oh, whoa, pump your brakes, homie. I live in your state. You guys haven't done a lick of spit for us. If anything, you made things worse. Okay. And where is all that money from the all these infrastructure projects and stuff? I seen that slapped on one sign to fix one road, which they ain't even really do no work, and it's still not done yet. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Okay, talking about you did something. What you did? Tell me what you did. Then got some list of a whole bunch of nonsense that they did. But remember, these are the same people, Chuck Schumer and them, okay, Nancy Pelosi and them, that voted against the bill that would have deported the illegal aliens that are actually committing very serious offenses, including violent crimes and rapes. They voted against that. 158 Democrats voted against it. Are you serious, bro? Like, this is like, what did you do for us again? Make us less safe? Promote more authoritarianism? You know, make it so that the tax thing comes more down on the head of the everyday working person? Like, the tax burden comes more down on that? Like, whittle away our money for all types of foreign wars and stuff like that? Tell me, and I'm not gonna leave the Republicans out of that, because a lot of them voted to send our money to all these foreign countries for wars too. And I don't believe that we should be funding any foreign war. If we're not actively out there taking land for the United States and annexing it for it to become part of the United States of America, we ain't got no business funding nothing. Nothing. Not a thing. Okay? Don't get me started. You know, I'm not a globalist, but I'm definitely an imperialist. Don't get me started. Imperial America, 100%. America, heck yeah. Okay, I'm joking, but it also I'm 100% serious. We got a little bit of a anyway. So if you guys are following, please hit follow, hit subscribe. Definitely hit the thumbs up, the heart button on whatever you're watching, and hit share. Share to your profile, share to your page, share it to some friends, and share it to some groups so to get the message out there. If you'd like to donate, you can donate on Cash App. That's $MW Real, the number one. That's $MW Real 1. Okay, or you can do what is it? Venmo. We also have PayPal. It's at Marcus C. Williams. And you can even do givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams. We're working on trying to raise some more money each per show so that we can get some sponsorships to help us across the line to get actual more airtime, as well as try to get some new equipment so we can get the message out to more people more consistently and with better, higher quality. So please definitely donate whatever you can, $5, $10, $15, whatever you can. We're trying to get like $50 to $100 per show that we do so that we can actually start building up what we're working on. Please help. We appreciate all your assistance. Now, with that being said, what did the Democrats actually do for us that Chuck Schumer is talking about they did? Nothing. Well, we did the student loans. Where'd that debt go? What happened to the value of our dollar? Our value of our dollar went down. And if you really wanted to do something for somebody, instead of talking about getting rid of student debt, you would have got rid of credit card debt. Hello? Is this thing on? You understand what I'm saying? Like, they don't really care. Student debt ain't a lot of nothing. Okay? You could have got rid of credit card debt. You know what the statistics are for credit card debt right now? Woo-wee! Don't get me started. Okay, it's real serious, and it's so disgusting. It honestly makes you want to spit because it's clear that they don't actually care about you. And now I got to spit talking about it. But this is the problem. And we need to have these serious conversations. But we're not having these serious conversations. And in and of it, that is the problem. Because let's see, if we don't have serious conversations, who's going to have them? Somebody tell me. They're just going to tell us what they want on the TV. They're going to tell us what they want on the news, like Chuck Schumer telling us that the Democrats are so great for us. And they ain't done nothing. Now, Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand are my state senators. My representative for the House of Representatives is Joe Morelli. Okay? And different people feel about different things about him for many different reasons. I would definitely am not a big fan of the way that he's promoted a whole bunch of bills that I believe are against our best interests. Okay? But in person, he's always been personable. We've always been able to have good conversations. And that's not me lifting him up over anything or anything like that. That's me speaking the truth. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I acknowledge somebody for what it is. And that is one of the things that it is. Do I like the policies and stuff that he's doing? No, man. And I tell him. I engage with him. I can't never get Chuck Schumer, engage with Chuck Schumer. Okay, when I engaged with Chuck Schumer one time only, and it was on some fugazi nonsense that he was talking about, man. I can't even deal, bro. I haven't really tried to get in touch with Gillibrand, and I guess that's on me. Maybe I should try better there, but I regularly focus largely on the state level, okay, or on the local level, because you can only bite off so much, and chew it at the same time. But when we have these serious conversations, we got to really look at what's going on and who affects what on what level of government. And all I can do is encourage you guys to get more active, because nobody's going to get active for us. Nobody's going to do it for us. And if we don't start coming together and actually standing up, nothing's going to change at all. Nothing. And we are going into this new season where we're getting a new president in the next couple of days. God bless, he makes it into office, and we got a new Congress. Congress has been seated. Hopefully they all do right. I saw Senate Majority Leader Thune the other day on the TV. I don't know, y'all. I heard him talking. I wasn't really feeling what he was talking. I don't know if I trust him yet. We're going to have to see. Honestly, I don't know a lot about Thune. I've only seen him so many times on the Senate floor and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully he's better than he looks like he is. I had some people in the Senate that I would have preferred to see as the majority leader, but we'll see how he does. Let's see. But I didn't like what he was talking about the other. So we'll see how it turns out. Lord bless, it'll work out good. I'm just praying. Okay. And we got Mike Johnson back as the person that's in charge of the House of Representatives. We'll see how that works. I know a lot of people out there aren't very happy with Mike Johnson. I understand. I'm not very happy with Mike Johnson. Let's see. I've heard they've said, oh, MAGA Johnson has now been unleashed and all of this and all of that. I don't know, man. That man has a 75% conservative voting record in comparison to somebody like Thomas Massey, who has a 96% conservative voting. That's a big difference. You mean 25% of the time? The guy who's supposed to be the leader of the Republicans, 25% of the time votes liberally, votes as a liberal. Like, what's wrong with that? That seems like, I don't know. So maybe let's give him a chance. Let's see what happens. The vote is in. It's all switched over. We'll see what happens now. We are where we are. That's it, right? We'll do what we can do, and we'll see what happens with Johnson. Lord willing, he actually comes around and actually does make a change, makes a difference, and actually stands on business for America, lowers the spending, and doesn't do all of these crazy things like it looks like they're trying to do. There's supposed to be some bills that go before reconciliation. I think they're going to end up making it all one whole bill, which is, it's been suggested that they break it up into two bills. And the reason why they're trying to do it like that is because they want to get it past the threshold on the Senate through reconciliation, so they don't need the 60 vote difference or whatever the case is. And they're also trying to make it so that it's essentially it's a number of things, but it's got the debt ceiling in there. It's got the border security, the revive stuff to revive the U.S. economy, whatever that means. Lord bless it, ain't a whole bunch of pumping more money into the economy to these giant corporations that steals it away from the micro and small businesses and stuff like that, and they just putting the money in their cousins' pockets. Honestly, you want to revive the American economy, deregulation and tax cuts, bro. Taxes. Get rid of taxes. You want to revive the U.S. economy? You want to see the U.S. economy jump tomorrow? End income tax. Abolish income tax, okay? You want to really do something, abolish income tax. I'd say end the Fed, but I know that's not realistic. End the Fed. Okay? End the Fed. If you guys know, you know. If you don't know, look up what the Federal Reserve Bank is. It's actually a private bank. It's not even part of the government, okay? Basically, what the Federal Reserve does is they go to the U.S. Department of Treasury. They essentially own the U.S. Department of Treasury, even though the U.S. Department of Treasury is part of our government, which is insane. They say, hey, U.S. Treasury, print up $1 billion. I'm just being like, just picking a number. Hey, U.S. Treasury, print up $1 billion. And then the U.S. Treasury prints up $1 billion, gives it to the Federal Reserve. And then they say, hey, U.S. Treasury, buy this $1 billion from us. And they'll be like, we're going to charge you X amount of money on it. Okay. 10% or whatever the case is, as far as interest. You charging us interest on our own money? We just printed the money and you charging us interest on our own money to loan us our own money? That's crazy. That's highway robbery. But that's a whole separate conversation for another episode. And I want to get through the rest of this stuff. But yeah, end the Fed. But if you really wanted to do something that's abolish state income tax, abolish federal income tax. I know the Fed isn't part of the state, but I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that in there, abolish state income tax too. You heard what I said, Kathy Holt. You heard what I said, senators and state senators and the House of State Assembly. State Assembly here is like our state house. So abolish state income tax. But abolish federal income tax, y'all. Like, y'all can do that. You want to spur the economy? Watch how much money people go out and start spending. Watch, because now they're going to have more money in their pocket, which means that there's going to be more money in the economy. Then you're going to get that money back because more people are going to go into business for themselves. More people are going to have more money to spend. More people are going to be buying more things. You already tax everything else anyway. You tax the property, you tax the food, you tax the this, you tax the that, you tax the food, you tax the fuel, you tax the transportation, you tax everything anyway. You tax capital gains, you tax losses, you tax everything. Come on now. You tax transferring your money to your kids when you die. What is going on here? We got taxes on taxes on taxes. You know, we need to have racks on racks on racks, but we got tax on tax on tax. And it's a terrible thing. But if they wanted to revive the economy, instead of doing all of that, deregulation, abolish income tax. That's it. That's all they got to do. Deregulation, abolish income tax. You ain't got to put another penny, not one penny, into the economy. Abolish income tax. That's it. Also, I'd also encourage along with that, lowering business taxes, right? Like a flat 10% tax on all businesses across the board. You know, I'll give you 15. You understand what I'm saying? But business taxes are too high also. That's a whole nother problem. That's why you always see all of these businesses. They're like, Amazon didn't pay their taxes because they got 50 million accountants and what do you call them other people? Not tax advisors. There's another one. I don't know. Those special tax people that practice on the tax, what is it called? Not tax avoidance, right? Because tax avoidance is good. What's the other one? Tax evasion is bad. Avoidance, good. Evasion, bad, right? But there are special people that deal with taxes to increase avoidance. And that's how these big guys play. But you, me, and most all their small businesses don't have that luxury because we ain't got that level of money to pay all them people all that money to not pay the taxes. So lower the taxes on small businesses, on medium businesses, on micro businesses, especially micro businesses. Matter of fact, honestly, any business that takes in less than $5 million in net, right? Excuse me, not net, but in gross, less than 5 million or less in gross. Okay, and they've got less than 15 employees. They shouldn't have to pay any type of business tax to the federal government. Not one, not a cent. not a penny. Okay? What is the net that's coming out of that at the end of the day? You know, but anyway, that's just a personal thing. Again, flat tax on across all corporations, you know, 10, 15% maybe. That's it. And make it simple, right? Don't make it complicated, you know. Then they also talk about they want to incentivize US manufacturing. I'm for that, you know. I'm for that and incentivizing, but as long as that don't mean throwing a whole bunch of money at it. Because whenever they do that, they don't actually incentivize the businesses and stuff like that. What they do is they incentivize really wealthy people to get into those businesses. So they're not really encouraging competition and stuff like that. However, we do have a very serious manufacturing crisis, so it kind of balances out there when we're talking about it. They're talking about reducing regulations and then restore American energy dominance and addressing the debt limit. If you raise the debt limit, I don't want you to raise the debt limit. I don't care if the whole thing got to come crashing down. The problem is y'all keep spending the money and y'all ain't got no budget. You ain't had no budget for 2-3 years. How you mean the most powerful nation in the world ain't had a budget for 2-3 years? Explain that to me. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Explain it to me. Go ahead. Explain it to me. Make it make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure it doesn't make sense to any of you guys either, because it's nonsense. But as we have these conversations, we need to have more people involved in these conversations so they can understand what's going on, so we can have those important conversations. So I encourage you, hit the share, hit the heart button, drop some comments. Every single comment that you make helps kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. Every single share does. If you're not following, hit follow. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, depending on what platform you're watching us on. And you can donate to help us get more airtime and to help us get some better equipment so we can get the message out to more people. You can donate Cash App, $MW Real 1. That's $MW Real, the digit 1. Or you can do givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams. We also have Venmo and PayPal. You can do at Marcus C. Williams on there. If you have trouble figuring out how to donate, please drop a comment, drop a message. We're very responsive on all of our comments and messages. We try to respond to everything. So help us get these messages out, get these conversations out, so we can start to work to bridge the divide that is in our country that is so strong right now, and restore our nation to prosperity and create a better future for us all together. You know, I'm all about the 3 E's: engagement, encouragement, and education. And that's why I love being able to do this show. But I need your help. We need more sponsors. So do whatever you can, whether it's $5, $10, $15, whatever. We're trying to raise between $50 and $100 a show. Just drop a little bit in the kitty. And if you don't know how, if you look down below in the ticker, you can see how to donate. And if you're on the air and listen to us on the radio, you can go to givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams, or you can do Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. We've got the options. Just reach out to us and we'll give you the options. Please, you guys, we got to get this out to more people and have these real conversations. So as we keep going here, we got to look forward to what's going on in the future, because did you guys realize that Afghanistan and Pakistan just went to war, you guys? Woo-woo! We're going to do a video about that later on, probably tomorrow. It should be out tomorrow, or Wednesday it should be out. It'll be on my YouTube. So definitely go follow my YouTube page. It's the Marcus C. Williams channel. Again, go follow my YouTube page. The Marcus C. Williams channel is what it's called. Because Pakistan and Afghanistan are at war right now. This could present a very serious issue, especially since we just had the issue with Syria and the Syrian government falling, and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and ISIS people taking over parts of Syria, along with Turkey and Israel, which is very interesting because now they've got a direct air corridor right to Iran, which means that's coming soon. They're going to start bombing Iran soon, guaranteed. Guarantee within the next 6 months, Israel bombs Iran. Almost 100%. I'm like 90% likelihood the Israel bombs Iran in the next 6 months. Honestly, I probably beef it up and say by May it'll happen. Well, wait, May is 5 months. 5 months. Next 5 months, okay? Guarantee you. I guarantee almost 100% likelihood that happens. And we got to be watching out on this stuff that's going on in the Middle East, because really they're trying to drag us into a much larger war, almost like a World War III type situation. We can't afford expending our troops in foreign lands. I don't want our young men and women, or even older men and women, to go over and die in those sand places. Okay, them sand places ain't got nothing for us. They don't like us. We don't like them. We ain't got no business over there. They don't want us over there. Honestly, I don't want them over here either. No offense. Okay, but your country's so great, you want to wave your flag over here and stay your behind over there. I saw an African talking about that the other day online. They were like, if you love your country so much, I see y'all Africans go to all these other countries and then got the nerve to put your flag in the bio like you're so proud and love your country so much. If you love your country so much, why don't you go back and suffer with us? I was rolling. That was hysterical. But yeah, we got to watch out for that. We got China on the inset. They're talking about they're going to war with Taiwan by 2027, no matter what. They said, no matter what, we're going to strike. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And then Taiwan's supposed to be our ally. We don't have very much that we can do there. We'd have a war with them, with China. We'd be tore up. We'd mess them up initially, but we'd be tore up because they got more production and they got more manpower. We're not ready for that. We don't even got enough munitions. What are we doing? And then, if we went to war with China, these other crazy terrorists and people that don't like us going to attack us all over the world. What are we doing? We're not ready. We're not ready. I love my country, but we shouldn't be doing anything stupid. So we got to prepare. We got to get our young men and women ready. We got to have them understand that what's going on is we need to prepare for dominance for the future, because there are those out there in the world that want to eradicate us and our way of life. So we got to stand up. We got to get active. We got to encourage other people to stand up and get active. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to do this show, but I need your help. So please donate. GiveSendGo.com/Marcus C. Williams, or you can do Cash App $MW Real, the digit 1. That's $MW Real, the number 1. You can also do Venmo or PayPal. It's at Marcus C. Williams. And definitely like, share, subscribe, drop some comments. It all helps the algorithm. And be sure that you are helping us get the message out there. The share means so much. Following means so much. Every heart and everything helps. So we are working to get this message out to more people. Follow my YouTube, the Marcus C. Williams channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. We got another show that's going to be on Wednesday. So please make sure that you follow my YouTube channel or subscribe to wherever you're following us right now, so that you can get the other information. That will not be an on-air show. So I'm sorry to my people that listen to us on the radio. We don't have any more airtime on the radio now. That's why we're trying to raise more money, so we can actually get some more airtime. So please help. Please donate. Again, GiveSendGo.com/Marcus C. Williams, or the Cash App $MW Real, the digit 1. That's $MW Real, the number 1, or Venmo, PayPal at Marcus C. Williams. You guys, I appreciate you all. Check us out online. And remember also, Sundays we do the Elephant in the Room. And you can check that out on whatever platform you watch us on. Or you can check us out on the Marcus C. Williams channel on YouTube. You guys, remember, be blessed, be well, and stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. I love you all. Have a happy and a prosperous new year. And may you succeed beyond the wildest dreams, and you accomplish more than you ever thought that you would this year. Y'all be blessed. We're out. All right, you guys. Catch you later.